One of my absolute favorite movies to come out last year was Creed, the Rocky spin-off that followed Apollo Creed's son. It was a really great movie, and as I said, one of the best of the year. But I feel like it's criminal if I go without reviewing the original Rocky series at some point, especially the first one, because this year is the 40th anniversary of the original. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the original Rocky series as part of this brand new retro review series. Rocky came out in 1976, was directed by John Avildsen, and was written by and stars Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone plays Rocky Balboa, a lower-class, small-time boxer living in Philadelphia who wants a shot at the big title. Rocky soon gets his shot at the big leagues when boxing champion Apollo Creed, played by Carl Weathers, comes into town and decides to pick Rocky Balboa as his opponent because of his nickname, the Italian Stallion. So that's the basic plot right there, an underdog trying to make it to the big leagues. But there really is a lot more going on with this movie outside of just a boxing movie. Because when you look at it on the outside, yeah, it is a movie about boxing. But when you really dig deep into it, there's so much more going on. Sylvester Stallone as Rocky Balboa is incredible. Rocky Balboa is his iconic character, and pretty much his baby. Rocky is a very humble, not too bright, yet very sympathetic and likable character. As the movie goes on, we get to know more about him, and as it builds up to the big showdown between him and Apollo Creed, we're rooting for Rocky all the way because we've grown so attached to the character. What's also really great about Rocky is that most people can relate to him. We've all been in that situation where we're trying to make it into the big leagues of whatever we're trying to accomplish, and watching Rocky go through this journey to basically go from an underdog to being in the spotlight is something that a lot of us want to do. And that ultimately in the end is what makes Rocky so special to most people out there, because he's such a humble character that we can all relate to. It's also a love story between him and a local pet shop owner, Adrian, played by Talia Shire, who is the sister of famous director Francis Ford Coppola. Talia Shire is also phenomenal as Adrian. She's a local pet store owner who's very shy and pretty much isolates herself from the rest of the world. But Rocky manages to see through her, manages to take her out on a date, and eventually the two of them fall in love. It's a very touching side story, and it makes these characters that much more likable. The rest of the cast is also really great. We have Burgess Meredith, who plays Mickey, Rocky's trainer, who used to be a boxer back in his days, but nowadays he's an old, grouchy and grumpy mentor, and he's fantastic in this movie. Then there's also Burt Young, who plays Adrian's bitter brother, Paulie. He's a fantastic character. There are points where you kind of hate him for just being so insane, and then other times you love him for being so insane. And then Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed is supposed to be the, quote, villain, unquote, of the movie, but he's just the boxing champion. He's the guy that, without him, Rocky wouldn't have his chance to make it to the big leagues. He's very cocky and somewhat arrogant, but you still like him in the end. The movie just has so many more things going for it. Mostly it's about the characters, but it also is famous for its iconic training montage set to Gonna Fly Now by Bill Conti. It's just a fantastic scene. The training montage in this movie may solely have been the reason why other movies follow a training montage, because they look to Rocky as being so iconic with its training montage. The ending of the movie has Rocky not winning the match against Apollo Creed, but he stayed in there for so long that you feel like it's somewhat of a victory, and in the end, it just leaves you with a really good feeling. If I had one negative to say about Rocky, and it's not something that's going to affect my rating in the end, it's that it is a little too predictable, to be honest. There aren't many surprises to be had in a movie like this. All the underdog movies are really kind of predictable. You can see what's going to happen, but as long as you're invested in the characters and the story itself, then it's not an issue at all, because in the end, Rocky is truly a masterpiece. All of the characters are great. Rocky himself has become a cultural icon. It's got so many memorable scenes, quotable lines, "Women weaken legs," or "You're gonna eat lightning and you're gonna crap thunder." And on top of all that, it won Best Picture at the Academy Awards when it was nominated. So there's just so many things about this movie that make it a masterpiece. And it's one of the best feel-good movies ever made. If you're ever in a bad mood about anything, just put on Rocky, and by the end of it, you'll feel good. If you've never seen Rocky, what are you doing? Get off your ass and go see Rocky right now. Rent it, buy it, whatever. In fact, don't even rent it. Just buy it. Because Rocky is that good of a movie to be worthy of a blind buy if you've never seen it. And that's my review for Rocky. Next week is going to be Rocky 2. Now, from this point on, until Rocky Balboa, it's going to be interesting because I've never seen Rockies 2, 3, 4, and 5 all the way through. I've seen the Cinemassacre reviews and I've seen clips from each of the movies, but I've never seen the movies in their entirety. I have seen Rocky Balboa though, so every review until then will be interesting because it will be my first time seeing the movies. I seriously cannot wait to chart into unknown territory with the rest of the series. So until next week, I hope you enjoyed this review. Leave a comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are on the movie, if and when you've seen it. And as always, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you, there's only one.